these top 10 ideas for trading,
Uh-huh.
which turned out to be 20 things.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just the way it goes. But I started writing them, and in about a minute, I was at 12, and I said, well.
So you're going to do a video and post it about those?
Yeah, I think, well, let me just do it right now. If we can, if you'll let me go through that. I only wanted to spend about 5 minutes on these to give a sense. I think hearing them in a rapid fashion may actually be better than a 2-hour session, with the promise that these are going to be expanded into the larger lessons. So let me try it this way. And this was based on Sarab had asked about, hey, how do I get up to speed? There's all this material. I said, well, I should really give him some advice. And so for day trading, I think these are the big ideas in what I think are probably the order of importance. If it's not quite the order of importance, it's within one or two. So the things at the top of the list, I think, are really central, and then it gets a little more developed as we go down. So to me, the most important frog box is the intraday definition of signal versus noise, and it's connected to this. It's the intraday position sizing risk box. The frog box, mathematically, is when we know the difference that noise is over, and this is frog box 1.0. That's the mathematical definition that all of this stuff is relying on. The difference between the position sizing risk box for -1R, and that's driven by the uncertainty in the variation of daily price action, because that's the standard deviation of 30 days of range. And then the execution stop is different, and that's based off the information available in the price action based on the hypothesis that you are trading. So if it was a maybe a P1, and I entered right here, maybe the owl isn't supposed to enter till here. But if I entered here, the price that invalidates this is this one. And so the frog box may be all the way down here, but if this is where I'm going to execute, then by front running the owl, what I'm really doing is limiting my loss to about a 0.3R. Now, quite often this fails, but when it fails, I'm going to stop and reverse anyway, so I've only invested a -0.3. I mean, if the owl fails, I'm going to stop and reverse. And if the owl fails, that might be a -0.5R. So if this one fails, it's only a -0.3R, and I'm still into the trade that I want to be in, which is a continuation of that, whatever the hybrid frog was. And the size of this leg is the size of that leg. The important point here is the difference between the execution stop is the rational price that tells me this hypothesis of going long was wrong. And then the position sizing box, being based off the frog at 1.0, allows me to ensure two things, that I'm taking fractional R losses, and yet I still have a full 2R reasonable intraday potential based off the frog box 1R. And that gives me favorable reward to risk. Third thing, watch those videos on the RLCO Bollinger Band framework to really understand what those things mean and why they're adaptive and how they're adaptive. So, fourth thing, understanding the 7 patterns. Even if we're not trading the pattern, it gives us the ability to precisely identify a pattern and say, oh, that's a P1, and now all the angst and all that price action has been reduced to a nice and orderly concept, an adjective, a name, a noun. It says, oh, that's just a P1. And then all of the angst that was associated with that price action has been dissipated because I can name the dragon. I can name the event, name the pattern. And that reduces the cognitive complexity and reduces the emotional energy. So understand the 7 patterns of RLCO is the fourth. The fifth thing is understand the differences between the 3 first-generation frog patterns, leapfrog, excuse me, quick frog, slow frog. Sixth, understand the hybrid frog, which is that second generation frog, which is, I think, an improvement over the three first generation frogs. 7, understand the owl and the P1F as a critical state, which says unambiguous move. The owl goes this way. If it fails, it goes that way for P1F. That is the bidirectional trade frame. Number 7 so that's the owl and the P1 combination. Number 8 combines 6 and 7, and it says the chain trading now is the combination of the hybrid frog from 6 and the owl P1F from 7, and now we can set up that trade frame right from the opening, which says it opened here, it moved the hybrid frog down, so I'm in. It's now started. I'm either going to get an owl long or a P1F short, and now I have the hybrid frog plus the next chain, and then at some point that's going to become the Z3, and then I'm going to play the breakout here, or if it went down, it's going to give me a Z3. I'm going to play the breakout up or down. So that leads us to 9. That's the next step in the chain, understanding Z3PO as a special case of RLCO pattern 5, in that the sideways motion got so compressed that when it breaks out past Z3, now I've got a significant move away. Number 10, stepping back now and looking at management. Looking at for example, the best example is your control charts, which says, understand how we apply statistical process control to analyze these patterns of daily performance so that I can use data and statistics instead of my feelings. Understand, number 11, the chimp and the ox. The ox is that willpower to just keep pulling the plow. And the chimp we've already just discussed, I think, pretty effectively tonight. Number 12.
I forgot to ask about the ox. I wasn't completely clear on the ox from your thing. With
so in agriculture, what you have is a farmer with a plan to till this field. You know, he's going to make these little furrows and all that other stuff. And he's got the sun and the rain and the moon and the stars and the wolves and the, you know, whatever, the railroad robber baron trying to steal his field, trying to steal his land. And despite all his plans, he can't plow that field by hand. What he needs is that powerful ox who, rain or shine, lives to pull. And that ox represents all of our horsepower and our emotional resilience. And that if you just let that ox pull, he's going to pull all day for you. The ox never stops believing in his ability to pull. It's in there. But you got to stop the chimp from diverting your attention away and discouraging you. So the farmer and the ox are tilling that field, but the ox is the emotional power that it takes to pull. Now, the that specially designed plow blade is what allows us to harness the power of the ox. So by having good technology and efficient plans and careful edges, we can come up with systematic advantage to really leverage the power, the brute force of the ox. The Buddhist 10 ox herding pictures is a Zen parable about how the man and the ox is the mind, which can, without direction, will just follow his ox nature and wander and run wild. And the 10 ox herding pictures is the story of the relationship between the man and his own ox, and how he goes through these cycles of increasing awareness and then self-control, and then he and the ox become one, and then he forgets that there's even such a separate thing as man and ox until it's just him, and then he has completed one cycle around the mountain of enlightenment, and each time getting higher and higher and higher as he goes. So that's sort of the story of the ox metaphor. and what he does for us. And when we're trading a lot of things and we're trying to maintain that calm, patient, man of the earth quality that the farmer represents, that's one way that we can use metaphor to help us appreciate what it takes to get up every day and go to work and trade 40 times and lose 20 times and have 10 scratches and then 10 that pay off. Check or hold?
Check. Thank you.
Okay. Number 12, plan, prepare, execute, assess model is the systematic technology of continuous improvement and being prepared. If I can only get one of them, prepare and assess. If you do those two things well, your execution and your planning will get better. Preparation is everything. Assessment is where we can learn. Number 13, target selection and logic chain dashboard, so that of all the things starting with SPY and the VIX pair, and then that stack of U.S. indexes, and then the sector spiders that branch out, and then the individual companies that add to it. And our job is to quickly find the mover today and get on him, and trade where the market is going, not make the market go where you prepared. You got to be prepared for the places it can go. So understanding the logic chain and dashboard, desperately eager to get on and frantic to get on the mover. Let's see. Number 14, understand swing trading one day at a time so that you can incorporate swing signal info into the day one trading technique. And that's nothing more than today the market closed with a 5DD. That makes tomorrow's trade frame very interesting because that can be the first day of a multi-day move, and I can get large on day one and then carry that forward as long as the swing trade is open. So day trading one day at a time, swing trading one day at a time, crucial. And then in terms of good practice, post one trade frame a week, post one completed trade case study a week in order to improve your trading, your accountability, your transparency, and then your sense of duty to the other chat room members. Understand the importance of mapping your trading and preparation process. That's like the video I just did for the Chief of Staff of the Army, why that visual process matters so much. 17, understanding the importance of committing to your learning in a personal learning journal as evidence it will process where you are and how you felt and creates an artifact for study, and then you can actually analyze your performance over time, and that will lead to long-term improvement better than anything. Apply and Van's 10 tasks of trading as an expansion on this whole plan and prepare, execute, assess model. I would make sure that all of his 10 tasks can be found inside your plan, prepare, execute, assess. Then having written goals, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, with an accountability partner to keep you honest and motivated and to forgive you when you need forgiveness, if you need help with that. And then number 20, 2 things to do every day for a year or forever. Just watch that 2-hour battle drill video. And then do the owl meditation every day. Hey, I only need to do it once a week. Okay, then do it once a day. Just do that owl meditation for forgiveness and gratitude so that when you need it, you can do it. Practice it so that you can do it well before you're in that moment of existential crisis. I would do it every day or every week, just so that it became a habit. So those, I think, are the top 20 ideas for day trading. There's obviously could be a detailed discussion of each and every one of those, and we've had those discussions at various times and places, maybe not organized in that sequence, but that's where I'm heading for the advanced day trading course. So those are the top 20. I will post that document in the chat room, and then you can work your way through that and see what it is that you need to concentrate on. But I would start with things in that order. to really get your arms around the day trading ideas that I think are the most crucial to day trading survival and then success. All right, questions on any of those?
Pretty clear. Good stuff.
Martin, any closing remarks?
No, it's an impressive list. I think looking forward to the course.
Yeah, so I would also take that as sort of a, for the portion that you wanted to look at the, getting on board with the day trade or the, the day trading techniques and whatnot. I'd sort of, you could do worse than start with that list. And then we'll build that out as we go. And you can check your own oil about, where you stand on, I'm aware of it. I understand it. I've incorporated it. You can figure out where you are on the scale of having brought it on board. Okay, so that's everything I wanted to cover today. I'm going to take a break and get the daily reports done and whatnot, and then I'll get this. Meanwhile, this video will post or will process. I'll get it uploaded to the private channel on YouTube, and then send you guys the link. And with your permission, I'll make that available to the other coaching guys. I'm going to take selected portions of this, like the last 20 minutes or so. This top 20, I may just cut that out and do a separate chunk on that one for the gang.
Yep.
So if there's no objections, then I may post a link in the chat room for our regulars, and then I'll make the whole link available to you guys too. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. My sense is that probably next one is probably third or fourth week of January for the next check-in. Because of the holidays, we're not going to be trading that much. Need some time to get the work done.
Yeah, I think that would certainly work for me.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, then I'll declare this one good for now, and then we'll just keep moving forward. So take good care, guys. Thanks for your kind attention.
All right,
and your willingness to share.
Good night.
Take good care.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.